17-year-old Zoe Hull, using only her quick thinking and survival skills, is suddenly in a very horrifying situation. Her school becomes the background for a terrible event. A group of shooters, showing their attack live for everyone to see, puts Zoe and her classmates in danger. Will Zoe's smart brain and caring heart save her and her classmates from this threat? High school student Zoe Hull struggles to come to grips with the death of her mother, Jennifer, causing her relationship with her father, Todd, to become strained. One morning, Zoe and her dad, Todd, were out hunting. Todd shot a buck, but it didn't die right away. While Todd was trying to figure out what to do, Zoe grabbed a rock and hit the buck on the head. Todd couldn't believe how little Zoe cared about hurting the animal. He figured her coldness came from the hurt she felt after her mom died. At breakfast, Zoe thought she saw her mom and talked to her like she often does. She knows it seems weird and hasn't told anyone, but chatting with her mom is the only thing that makes Zoe feel better. Then, her best friend Lewis showed up to take her to school. On their way, Zoe saw a kid from school, Chris Jellick, hiding something weird in a field. She thought it was just a joke. Today at school was the day for senior pranks, which Zoe and Lewis weren't excited about. Zoe's chemistry teacher, Mrs. Jane, noticed Zoe was acting differently since her mom passed away. She tried to talk to Zoe about it, but Zoe didn't want to talk. Zoe's best friend Lewis attempts to ask her to prom. She has never wanted to attend prom and is terrified that she will have to turn him down. They meet at the cafeteria for lunch, but she avoids the issue. Lewis brings it up, explaining that he is asking her as a friend because he does not want them to remain home while the rest of the school is having fun. When a drink spills on Zoe, she rushes to the restroom. Several incendiary devices are set off across town, diverting first responders and obstructing traffic. The police, paramedics, and firefighters are all working to handle the situation. When Zoe enters the restroom, she notices a bully named Anna hiding something above a vent. After the bully has left, she investigates the vent but finds nothing. A vehicle smashes into the school cafeteria, carrying 4 school shooters. Chris, the guy Zoe had seen earlier that morning, jumps out of the truck and shoots the injured man dead. Chris wasn't alone. He had a squad that included his sister Anna, whom Zoe had seen in the restroom, a youngster named Kip, who wasn't particularly popular at school, and their leader, Tristan. They were the ones who had put bombs around town to keep the police busy, and now they were at Zoe's place, ready to cause more trouble. They quickly showed they were serious by hurting people right in front of everyone. Zoe was trying to leave the bathroom when a hurt girl asked for help. The girl didn't make it, and Zoe realized things were bad. She listened as Tristan told everyone they were now his captives and had to do what he said. Kip checked the bathroom to make sure no one was there. Zoe found a way to crawl through the ceiling and exited the school, helping others get out too. Meanwhile, Tristan made a student call her mom and tell her what was happening. After the call, he said there was no point in anyone else trying to get help secretly because the police already knew. He even said they could call their families one last time. When Zoe tried to stay hidden in the kitchen, she fell from the vent, making a noise. Chris came to check, but the kitchen lady tried to protect Zoe and got hurt instead. Zoe was shaken, but knew she had to keep going. She told the school staff what was happening. Outside, Zoe warned other students. Back inside, Tristan made the students start a live stream to show the world what they were doing. He warned that things would get worse if anyone tried to stop the stream. As he presents himself to the world, the principal enters with the security guard. Tristan invites them in and asks whether they understand why he's doing all this. The principal tries to calm Tristan down, blaming himself for his wrath. However, Tristan acknowledges that his sole purpose is to wreak havoc. According to the school's administration, Tristan was in trouble last week for failing to do effectively in class and acting out. The principal had informed him he wouldn't make something of himself. However, Tristan's difficulties are wider than those of school meetings. He's very smart and has struggled with people being mean to him. The principal tried to calm him down, but ended up getting shot. The security guard, though, was allowed to leave. Lewis, who was broadcasting the situation to the most people online, was picked by Tristan to film everything and was brought to the front. Once the school office knew what was happening, they locked down the school. Zoe tried to warn every class by going from room to room. Some teachers didn't believe her, thinking it was a joke, but others did. It would take too long to tell everyone this way, so she set the fire alarm to get people to leave. But Anna, in the electrical room, stopped the alarm and locked everyone back in their classrooms after taking out a guard. The school then announced over the speakers that there was a lockdown. and everyone should stay where they were. That's when the police showed up, trying to figure out what to do. News channels started covering the story, but Tristan wanted his broadcast shown on national TV. When Zoe got to the reception area, an explosion happened, planned by the attackers, but it went off late, hurting many but not Zoe. Anna went to check on the damage and ran into Zoe, who was imagining her mom talking to her about how crazy everything was. When Anna appeared, Zoe played dead until Anna walked away. Zoe then tried to keep warning others, but Anna heard her and shot at her, hitting her leg. They ended up in a room full of balloons from a prank. Zoe hid and defended herself against Anna, eventually stopping her for good. The police looked into Tristan's family and found his mom had been dead for days at their house, showing Tristan was responsible. The media picks up the live stream, much to Tristan's delight, and he begins removing students from their classrooms where they are sheltered in place. While all this was happening at school, Tristan left Chris to keep an eye on things and went to Spanish class. The teacher tried to convince him to go, but Tristan forced her to remove her top and stand in front of the camera as many others watched on the live feed. Todd then drove to the school in his pickup after hearing about the disturbance. In the meantime, Chris was having trouble with voices in his brain. These voices were a major reason he chose to join Tristan. Listening to them, he began firing at the cops outside. Tristan heard the sound and returned to the main area, accompanied by the Spanish instructor and her students. Kip meets Zoe and pursues her, but he is immediately apprehended. Handcuffed, Kip says that his motive for the shooting was vengeance for a bullying incident in middle school. Zoe points out that Kip murdered numerous innocent students who had no involvement in the affair. Zoe phones the sheriff and asks him to move the media's cameras away from the school so she may securely evacuate the pupils. Sheriff Tarsi contacts Tristan live on air to give cover, but Tristan quickly discovers the lie. Tristan figures out that someone is helping students get away. He calls Anna's phone, wanting to speak to the mastermind. Zoe boldly tells him she's the one who took Anna down. Tristan tells her to meet him in the cafeteria in 5 minutes, or he'll start hurting the hostages. To show he's serious, he hurts a girl right there. Todd sees this happening live and gets his hunting rifle ready to save Zoe. Inside the school, Zoe finds Kip feeling sorry about everything. This makes it easier for her to get him to switch sides. She trusts him completely, gives him a gun, and heads to the cafeteria. Tristan is shocked to see Zoe opposing him, remembering her from the school corridors. Zoe faces him bravely, challenging him. Just then, Kip shows up, ready to defend her. Tristan laughs, thinking Kip isn't cut out for this situation. As partial atonement for his crimes, Zoe has Kip ambush Tristan, and in the ensuing chaos that leaves Kip dead and Lewis injured, Zoe escapes with Lewis. Zoe settles Lewis and reveals that she reciprocates his feelings for her, but has a hard time expressing them. After they've been moving quickly for a bit, Lewis lets Zoe know he's been shot. Lewis warns her that the van in the cafeteria is filled with explosives. Zoe rushes him to an office, makes him comfortable on a couch, and then kisses him. She tells him they'll go to prom together before she runs back out, aiming to lure Chris her way. Their chase leads them to the chemistry lab, where Zoe turns on the gas and causes a small explosion. The fire catches the attention of Todd, who's made his way into the woods behind the school to rescue his daughter. Eventually, Chris finds Zoe and is about to kill her, but seconds before, Todd shoots him dead. Zoe takes over the webcast, assuring Tristan that she is the one people will remember, not him. Tristan rigs the van to explode and flees with one captive and an explosive. Zoe takes the van from the cafeteria by shifting into reverse and pressing the gas pedal with Chris's weapon. The vehicle explodes in the empty parking lot. Zoe then attempts to chase Tristan, but is wrongly apprehended by SWAT. Outside the school, Zoe meets Sheriff Tarsi, who praises her for her work and informs her that Tristan perished in an explosion. Zoe meets with her father to reinforce their love and rebuild their connection. She then sees Tristan running into the woods, having faked his death. Zoe grabs her father's hunting weapon and kills Tristan as he steals money and a passport. Standing over him, Zoe allows Tristan to bleed out, reminding him that it is what he deserves for what he has done. In the final scene, we see her return to the school grounds and notify the sheriff of what occurred.